Parts 15 and 16, Precious Stones. Partners, close friends, parents, siblings, children or grandchildren, hold on to those precious people in your life. Part 16, starting in at round 104. We're going to use color A. We want to find a corner front post double crochet and the chain 3 space that we made just after. And we will place 2 single crochet in that chain 3 space. And then in each of these next to 3 singles, we want to try and find that 3rd back loop and work a single crochet into there. So 1, 2, and 3. And again, you can use a smaller size hook if you prefer to find that 3rd back loop. So down in round 101, so that's my 2nd white row. In the chain 1 space that could be hidden by this cluster. So I can sort of find it between the cluster round and the last round. There's that chain 1 space in round 101. We'll place a double crochet in that chain 1 space. So working behind, we want to work a double crochet still in round 101. We want to work behind round 102. So in these 2 free doubles, we will place a double crochet. Chain 2. And then we'll skip this next chain 1 space that has that cluster in it. And then double crochet in these next 2. Now you might find you have to move that cluster out of the way to find that stitch. Then in the next chain 1 space, which again will be kind of hidden above that next cluster, we'll double crochet in that chain 1 space. So if we look at these stitches here, you can see the double crochet in the chain space, and then those 4 double crochet that we made behind the work. In the chain space, this double crochet is sort of in front of the chain 2 space of round 102. And so in the written pattern, it's described as crossing over. So we work these and that chain space kind of goes between those double crochet. So the written pattern again refers to this as crossing over from back to front here, or from front to back there. Okay, but just as long as we're working in behind, those will sort of naturally fall into place. Next, we're going to make 3 back loop only double crochets. So we're still working in round 101, and we can see these 3 front loops, or those back loops. It's right behind those single crochet we made last round. So we want to make a double crochet in each of those back loops. So I insert my hook under that back loop after I yarned over. The hook also goes under that chain 6 of round 102. So that's considered a back loop only double crochet in that back loop of 101 under the chain of 102. That's twice and 3. Okay, and then we want to work in front of 102 and 103 in these next 2 double crochet of round 101. we'll place a double crochet in those. So then in round 102, we see the single crochet that was worked into that chain 3. We want to make what's called a split single crochet, so that just instead of inserting in the top of the stitch, we want to insert through both of these legs. So in order to do that, what happens is we also go under that third extra loop that I've sort of pulled to the front there. So I'm just going to show you on the back side of this stitch. So it's not under the top 2 loops, but it's under or between the 2 legs. We also want our hook to go under that chain of last round. Pull up our loop and finish a single crochet. So it's called a split single crochet because it's worked between the 2 legs. And then still working in round 101, but in front again, in these 2 free stitches, we'll place a double crochet. So the last 2 rounds are behind our work at this point. And then we see these 3 singles again, so working behind into those free back loops, still on round 101, and enclosing the chain of 102, we'll make back loop double crochet. Yarn over, insert in that back loop and under the chain, and finish a double crochet. That's 2, insert and under the chain for 3. So starting with those 3, or starting with the double crochet in the chain 1 space by this first cluster, that is our repeat that we will work 12 times down the side. So I'll show you that one more time. So we have this next cluster here, finding that chain 1 space that's above the cluster, double crochet in there. That's worked behind last round. Then again, working behind round 102, so that's my gray round, that chain comes to the front. We have these 2 free double crochet on round 101. We'll place a double crochet in each of those. Chain 2, skip that next chain 1 where the cluster is placed, and then moving the cluster if you need to find that next free stitch, place a double crochet in there and the next one. And then we sort of cross over that chain 2, find that next chain 1 space above the next cluster to place a double crochet. Then working in the back loop of these next 3 stitches and under the chain, double crochet. 1, 2, and 3. And then coming to work in front of our work in these next 2 stitches, double crochet. And then we're ready for that split single in this next stitch and under that chain loop. And then still working in front, in these next 2 stitches, we'll place a double crochet. behind our last round, in these 3 free loops, we'll place that double crochet under that free loop and the chain for 3 back loop double crochet. And that's 2 repeats. So again, you'll work that a total of 12 times, and I'll join you just before the corner. So when you've worked those 12 repeats, you'll have finished at this spot right here. We want to do one more set of that double crochet in the chain 1 space above the cluster, the 2 double crochet behind, chain 2, 2 more doubles, and another double in that next cluster. And then in each of these next 3 stitches, there's single crochet. We're finding that 3rd loop on the back and single crochet in each of these. 1, 2, and 3 single crochet in the 3rd loop, and then 2 single crochet in that chain 2 space just before the corner, chain 2, which becomes the new corner. Then on the other side of that front post double in the chain 3 space, we'll place those 2 single crochet, ready for that 3rd loop only in the next 3 stitches, and then starting our repeats. So again, you can work that all the way around. So we join to our starting stitch, do not fasten off. Round 105, continuing with color A. So we want to make a double crochet in this first single crochet. So for this first one, we will substitute a chain 3, or if you know a starting double crochet, you can use that there. So double crochet in each of these first 2 single crochet, chain 1, we're going to skip the next stitch, double crochet in the next 2 stitches. And we'll repeat that little bit, chain 1, skip a stitch, double crochet in the next 2 stitches. And then we want to work onto round 103. We're going to find this front post single that was worked around the cluster, and we're going to make a back post single crochet around it. So I enter from the back under the top loops, out the next stitch to pull up my loop and finish a single crochet for that back post single. And then back on round 104, we're going to place a double crochet in this chain 2 that was behind the cluster. Double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, chain 1, skip a stitch, repeat, double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches, chain 1, skip a stitch, and then double crochet in the next 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that 3rd double crochet was placed in that split single crochet. And then we're going to be doing that little bit 12 times. So I'll work that once more with you. Chain 1, skip the next stitch, double crochet in the next 2 stitches. Chain 1, skip a stitch, double crochet in the next 2 stitches. back post single on round 103 around that front post single worked around the cluster. Double crochet in the chain 2 space back behind, double crochet in the next 2 stitches, chain 1, skip a stitch, double crochet in the next 2 stitches, chain 1, skip a stitch, double crochet in the next 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that's 2 repeats I've worked with you. You do that a total of 12 times. Okay, and you will note that the double crochet that were made in both of these clusters have been skipped in this round. So when you've worked those 12 repeats, you need to do the chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the next 2, and repeat, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the next 2. We want to work that back post single again around the front post single, double crochet in the chain 2 behind, double crochet in the next 2 stitches, chain 1, skip 1, repeat, double crochet in those next 2 stitches, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in each of these last 2 stitches that are before that corner chain. We're going to chain 1. In that corner chain 2 space, we will place 2 double crochet, chain 1, and ready to turn and repeat down the next side. So it'll start with the double crochet in each of those first 2 stitches, and then start the repeat of chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the next 2, and so on. So we'll work that all the way around, joining to our starting stitch at the end of the round and fastening off. Round 106, using color B, we want to start in the first skip stitch of round 104, just after the corner. So most of this round is going to be worked into those skip stitches of round 104. We're going to work a 3 double crochet clusters. So we yarn over, insert in that first skip stitch. We want to keep our hook in front of last round. Pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, leaving 2 loops on our hook. And we'll repeat that twice. Yarn over, insert, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. 3 loops on hook. Once more, yarn over, insert, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. There's 4 loops on hook, yarn over, pull through all 4 loops for a 3 double crochet cluster. Chain 2. We'll work a 3 double crochet cluster in this next skip stitch. So 3 partial double crochets worked into that same skip stitch, yarn over, pull through all 4 loops. This time we'll chain 6. And then finding the next skipped stitch of round 104, a 3 double crochet cluster. Chain 2. In the next skip stitch, another 3 double crochet cluster. Chain 5. So we will do this a total of 13 times down the side. On the 13th repeat, we will not do the chain 5. So you can go ahead and work that all the way down the side. 3 double crochet cluster in that next skip stitch of round 104, working in front of 105. Chain 2. 3 double crochet cluster in that next skip stitch. Chain 6. 3 double crochet cluster in the next skip stitch. Chain 2, 1 more 3 double crochet cluster in that next skip stitch. Chain 5. So I've worked 2 repeats with you. Again, you'll want to do that a total of 13 times. So you want to make these chains a little bit loose so they don't pull your work too much. We've worked those 13 repeats down the side and did not do the chain 5 at the end of this last repeat. Instead, we will chain 2, and then we want to double crochet in the corner chain space that is just before those 2 double crochet placed in the corner space. So 1 double crochet in that chain 1 space, chain 4, and that becomes the new corner, double crochet in the chain 1 just after those 2 corner double crochet, chain 2. And then we're ready to work back down on round 104 in that skip stitch with the first 3 double crochet cluster, chain 2, and then ready to continue the repeats all the way down that next side. So again, you can work this all the way around, joining to our starting stitch at the end of the round and fastening off. Round 107 using color C. We will start in any corner. We're going to work into the corner stitches of round 105. So that's the round with the 2 double crochet made in the corner space. So we're going to place a single crochet in this first double crochet. We also want our hook to go under the chain of round 106. So we'll make a single crochet in that first stitch, chain 2, which is our new corner, and then we'll single crochet in this next double crochet, making sure that chain is enclosed in the stitch as well. Then we're going to work a front post single crochet around this first double crochet of round 106. And then back down on round 105, single crochet in each of those 2 double crochet with our hook going under that chain space as well. And then starting with this next stitch is the start of our repeat front post single around the cluster of round 106, single crochet in the next 2 stitches of round 105, including that chain in the stitch as well. Front post single around the cluster, single crochet in each of these next 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 6th stitch might be slightly hidden by that cluster, and on each of these single crochet we included the chain as well. Front post single around the next cluster, single crochet in the next 2 stitches working under that chain, or a hook going under the chain as well. We'll repeat that, front post single around the cluster, single crochet in each of these next 2 stitches. Chain 1, and we're going to skip this next stitch, which should be the middle or the 3rd of those 5 double crochet above the gateway. Skipping that one, single crochet in the next 2 stitches. And that is our repeat. So we want to work that a total of 12 times down the side. So I'll do that once more with you. Front post single around the cluster, single crochet in each of those next 2 stitches and closing the chain. Front post single around the cluster, single crochet in each of the next 6 stitches and closing the chain in these stitches. So that's 3, 4, 5, and 6. Front post single around the cluster, single crochet in the 2 stitches and closing the chain. Front post single around the cluster, single crochet in the next 2 stitches, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet in the next 2 stitches. So that's 2 repeats. We'll do that 10 more times for a total of 12 repeats, and I'll join you just before the next corner. When you've completed your 12 repeats down the side, you will have been at this point right here. We'll work another front post single around the cluster, 2 single crochet, front post single, the 6th single crochet, front post single around the cluster, single crochet in 2, and we'll do that twice. Front post single, single crochet in 2. And then we want to work a front post single around this last double crochet before the corner. And then we're ready to start our corner again with the single crochet in that corner double crochet, chain 2, single crochet in that next double crochet, and always enclosing the chain, and then front post single around the double and single crochet in these next 2 stitches, and then we're ready to start our repeats down the side. So again, we will work this all the way around, all 4 sides, joining to our starting stitch and fastening off at the end of the round. Round 108, we're using color F. This is the final round for this part. We want to start in any of the chain 2 corner spaces. We'll start with a single crochet in that chain 2 space, chain 1. We're now going to make what's called a spike single crochet, so between these 2 doubles of round 105, we're going to insert our hook through to the back, grab that loop and pull it up to the height we're working on for a single crochet, so it's a spike single crochet. Sometimes mine twists a little bit, so I just even out those post legs. we're going to single crochet in the same chain 2 corner space. Then we're going to skip this first single crochet then in this front post single. So starting with this next stitch, it's our repeat for this row. We're going to single crochet in each of the next 18 stitches. So 1, 2, 17 and 18, and that should be just before that chain 1 we made last round. And we want to make a spike single crochet down in round 105 in that skipped double. So insert, pull it up to the height we're working for that spike single crochet. So when we're working over these for these spike stitches, you can see peeking behind that chain of round 106 and the chain 1 of round 107. And that's our repeat. So we'll do that a total of 13 times. And we'll start again. Single crochet in 18. 1, 2, 17 and 18, single crochet, spike stitch down on that skipped double crochet, making sure our hook goes under both of those chains. So that's 2 repeats. You want to work that a total of 13 times down the side, and I'll meet you just at the next corner. So when you've worked 12 repeats, you'll have the spike stitch. You'll work 1 more repeat of the 18 single crochet, but we won't do the spike stitch. Single crochet in these last 2 stitches before the corner. And then once we've reached this corner, we will place, sorry, I had my hook in the wrong stitch. So that's my second stitch before the corner. And then in the chain 2 corner space, we'll place that single crochet, chain 1, the spike stitch between those 2 doubles, and a second single crochet in that chain 2 corner space. And you'll likely need to move that spike stitch over a bit to find that same chain 2 space. We'll skip this next stitch. Starting with the front post single, we'll single crochet in there, and then we'll start in with a single crochet in the next 18, followed by that spike stitch. So you can go ahead, work that all the way around, joining to our starting stitch, and fasten off at the end of this round.